either you can turn down or turn up the tap, and that's avoiding emissions, or you can pull out the plug, and that's removing the emissions once they've been generated. And so for us, we try as much as we can to avoid the emissions in the first place when we're thinking about those carbon offsets. But of course, removals also play a role in that too. So that's a bit about the carbon offsets market of South Pole.
When we're developing solar projects, virtually everyone in a market like New York, at least, we're analyzing the possibility of including storage in that as well. There's still some permitting considerations and things like that that can slow things down, but those barriers are getting knocked down over time as well.
And speak a little bit to what's happening on the ESG landscape just broadly as we think about how sustainable finance is rapidly accelerating and some of the conditions that are necessary to be in place to really unlock capital at scale and really reward those organizations who are truly integrating ESG considerations from both a risk as well as an opportunity standpoint. And I know that reporting is not always the sexiest of topics, but I would say that even in just the last couple of weeks, there have been unprecedented developments in the overall ESG landscape that I think anyone will be excited about.
We use biotechnology that has allowed us to develop a fish that is perfect for that environment. And so we are now the first and only approved genetically engineered animal for food use, both by Health Canada and the FDA.
One example I've been looking at that's particularly relevant in the United States, especially in the East, is historic coal mine waste. There are thousands of sites like this that have ongoing environmental issues associated with acid mine drainage. But what they're discovering is that many coal resources contain rare earths.
Let me tell you a little bit about Build Edison and myself, and with a bit of focus on the built environment. So I started Build Edison after, as Tom, as you mentioned, I've had a career in several areas of energy. Started out at utilities in the grid, distribution level grid, doing substation engineering. And then over the last quarter century have evolved to not only doing things from the distribution grid perspective, but how it directly connects to the customer. And then from there, from the customer, how that has evolved in the last couple of decades.
So if you want 100 kilowatts of power and 100 kilowatts of energy, it's linked because all of the capacity is stored over in the power stack. We don't store it, we store it in a tank. So we've delinked it. So if you want to double the amount of storage, you're gonna have to double the amount of the power stack. Just double the amount of the tank. That's all you've got to do, increase your tank.
And sometimes you had to wait for a scandal, you had to wait for a crisis to basically say, see, we need to think about these environmental issues or these social equity issues or these governance, anti-corruption, anti-money laundering issues, whatever issues they were. So now we have this sort of perfect storm that's come together of ESG issues.
To galvanize all these things and bring them home together. And that's that ethical education matters, right? We've launched an Impact Academy. We're actively looking for people that can contribute in an open source way, your knowledge and your know-how. We're looking at 4 main broad categories of education and people that can help produce content. If you want, or if you're one of these 4 and you want content.
what we determined was we wanted to transform the CO2 and use it actually as a resource. And this is a significant change in mindset. When you suddenly have CO2 that's available as a resource, it has properties, it has energy, it has actually some properties that are very good.
And in the middle is the investment arena or even your portfolio. And on the outside of it are a lot of drivers that are coming into it. And for many years, outside drivers may have affected your portfolio, such as the growth of the economy, what the Fed is doing, monetary policy, business outlook, et cetera. And right now, though, I see a number of different drivers that are affecting your portfolio now and in the future. Obviously, planetary stress is one of them, and there's nowhere to hide with that. So what's going on out there in the climate and the hurricanes, droughts, wildfire, fire, et cetera,